Hello everyone, hope you are doing great. So let's discuss a new TCS provision today. In order to increase the base of TCS, the government has introduced a new provision under 206C and the new subsection is called as 1H and it is applicable for all type of sellers who are satisfies certain specified conditions. Okay, so now let's discuss it in very detail. As I've told you earlier, this new section 206C subsection 1H is applicable on certain specified sellers and its effectiveness is from 1st October 2020 onwards. Okay, so starting with the tax collection. A seller who receives any amount as consideration for sale of any goods of the value exceeding rupees 50 lakh in a year from a buyer shall collect TCS or shall collect tax at 0.1 percentage on the amount exceeding rupees 50 lakhs. This is what is they have given under 206C 1H. Say for example, say JK, I'm a seller, okay, and Mr. B is a buyer. And Mr. B buys goods worth 55 lakhs say in 2020-21 financial year. Okay, the value of the goods was 55 lakhs. Then what I need to do, JK being seller, I am supposed to collect TCS at 0.1 percentage on this 5 lakhs. That's what they are saying. So there is a threshold of 50 lakhs. So if a particular buyer buys goods from a seller in a financial year, if the value of the goods he have bought in aggregate, in total, exceeds 50 lakhs, then that on that excess amount, 0.1 percentage TCS should also be collected by the seller. This is what the new section is all about. Okay, and moving forward, the time of collection. The time of collection, they are saying it is at the time of receipt from the buyer. For example, when the buyer pays the amount, when Mr. B pays that 55 lakhs to JK, JK is supposed to collect 0.1 percentage on that 5 lakhs as extra TCS. And there is one more point, the buyer, if he pays an excess amount as a TCS, he can take that amount as a credit while computing his what annual tax liability, just like TDS. Okay, it is just like a advance payment of tax. Then the rate of TCS, there is a slight variation. If the buyer has not provided PAN number or Aadhaar number to the seller, then the rate of TDS is at 1 percentage instead of 0.1 percentage. It is mentioned under section 206CC. You got my point? If the buyer, that means in our example, Mr. B, has failed to produce PAN or Aadhaar number, then the seller JK is supposed to collect TCS at 1 percentage on that 5 lakh rupees. That means total 55 on that 5 lakh rupees, 1 percentage is the rate of TDS required to be deducted. Again, moving forward, TCS is not required in the following 4 situations. Let's understand. Situation number 1, if the goods sold are being exported out of India, that means I'm a seller and I'm exporting the goods outside India, then there is no point in collecting what TCS at 0.1 percentage or 1 percentage, whatever it is. Condition number 2, if the seller is liable to collect TCS under other provisions of section 206C, under the other provisions of 206C, if there is already TCS collection, then again that seller is not required to collect TCS under subsection 1H. Okay, for example, for liquor, for forest products, for timber, 10-2 leaves, etc., there are existing TCS provision. On that product, again, that seller is not required to collect TCS under 206C 1H. Again, condition number 3, if buyer is liable, this is not condition, these are actually different situations. In situation number 1, situation number 2, 3 and 4, TCS is not required. Okay, and situation number 4, if the buyer is liable to deduct TDS from the seller and the same has been deducted. If that buyer is required to deduct TDS under any of the existing provisions of TDS, then there is no TCS. That means both the TDS and TCS will not hit on a single transaction. That's what they are saying. If the buyer is liable to deduct TDS, then forget about this new TCS. Again, point number 4, I can give you one example for point number 3. Say you are a property dealer, then while transferring an immovable property, then you need to collect TDS, right, on 1%. That as says, while selling the product is not required to collect TCS at under section 2061H, 206C1H. Again, situation number 4, if the buyer is central government, state government or local authority or an embassy or a high commission or legation or commission or consulate or the trade representation of a foreign state or any person notified by CG, then also TCS is not required. If the buyer is these category persons, then TCS is not required to be collected by the seller. Again, moving forward, there is a relaxation for certain sellers. That says, if the seller's total sales or gross receipts or turnover from business is less than or equal to 10 crore during the financial year immediately preceding the financial year in which the sale of goods is carried out, then that seller is not required to collect TCS. It's very simple. Say, for example, in our example, JK was the seller, right? And JK, say in 2019-20 financial year, if JK's total sales or gross receipts, say it was 6 crore, okay, and in 2020-21, JK has sold certain goods to a buyer, okay, say in our example it was B, and the value of good, say it is 55 lakhs. In this situation, JK being the seller is not required to collect TCS. Why? The Act says if that seller's total sales or gross receipts or turnover is less than or equal to 10 crore during financial year immediately preceding the relevant financial year. The relevant financial year to decide whether to collect TCS or not is 2020-21. So what you have to check, in the immediate preceding financial year, that is in 2019-20, if my turnover or gross receipts or total sales does not exceed 10 crore, that means if it is less than or equal to 10 crore, then in 2021, I am not supposed to collect what? TCS. I don't have to collect TCS. For small scale sellers, a relaxation has been provided under 206C1H. Hope you got my point. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching my video and take care and see you next Sunday with yet another important topic on income tax. Bye-bye.